Chairperson of Parliament's Trade, Industry and Competition Committee, Chairperson Mzwandile Masina says major banks in South Africa must explain their credit policies as well as other policies and practices. He now joins us. Mzwandile, thank you so much for your time. I understand that major banks will be appearing before the Portfolio Committee along with other economic cluster portfolio committees with a focus on understanding the banking practices in South Africa. Your concern, as raised in a statement, starts around the issue of banking costs for consumers in South Africa. What exactly will these portfolio committee engagements with the banking sector hope to achieve?
No, thank you very much for the opportunity. We really are happy that we have now sent letters of invitation to all the major banks in South Africa, requesting them to come and share with us some of the critical issues that you've already mentioned. We are hoping out of the conversation to make sure that at least we get to understand how the banks are functioning, but also how these issues impact on consumers, because at the tail end it's the consumers that have to pay exorbitant fees from the bank. The other issue that we want to raise are issues of credit. In South Africa it's very easy to get consumption credit, like to buy a car, to buy a house, to have a credit card. But it's very difficult to get credit for productive purposes, like to start a business and things like those. So we want to understand what could be the role of the bank in ensuring that they don't just pump us as citizens with credit, but they give us credit that is productive and that you can use. As you know, that in South Africa, the economic growth hinges on on small business. So we need to ensure that there is a way in which banks can support the SMEs in the main as well.
Yeah. Have you also extended an invitation to the National Treasury? And here's why I'm asking that. The National Treasury in the previous administration and continued into this administration has been working on what is termed the Financial Inclusion Policy Framework. This also focuses on banking and other financial services sector products for consumers across the board in South Africa, hoping to make it more accessible, more inclusive, and for South African consumers to get the most out of their banking and financial services products altogether. They've already looked into things like banking pricing, banking accessibility, and banking regulations, and are hoping to be able to create a policy framework that changes the landscape in South Africa. Has such an invitation been extended to the National Treasury as well to participate in these engagements?
Yes, the invitation came as a result of the joint portfolio committee of National Treasury and the SABC. And we came to the conclusion that, yes, there are mutual institutions that are discharged with the responsibilities of just looking on the day-to-day running of the bank. We are not really worried about that. I think the National Treasury and various institutions are doing that. What we are more concerned about are the issues that we've raised. We will obviously be working with the National Treasury and we'll raise some of the issues that are coming up in the policy space. Yeah.
When are these hearings to take place?
Well, we're intending to invite them in terms of the date on the 4th of February in Parliament. We have not yet, understandably so, we have not received any feedback from them because they told many of the senior executives are no longer, at work. So we're hoping that all of them will respond positively. In an event, we feel that there is no sufficient cooperation between ourselves and the bank. We will then have to use the parliamentary laws to subpoena the banks to appear before the committee. And at this point, we don't think that there is a bad relationship between the portfolio committee and the bank. It's more like an inquiry so that we can agree on the way forward on how we can assist consumers in the main South Africa.
Just out of curiosity, have any of the banks noted the receipt of the invitation and have indicated their participation in it?
I am not aware at this stage because, as you know, that there are people who are running the administration in the office. But as a matter of fact, I think mid-Jan, we will issue a statement indicating who has acknowledged, who has confirmed, who is coming, who has ignored, so that the people of South Africa can know exactly that as public representative, we're doing our best to make sure that we can hold everybody accountable. That this goes to other sectors that affect our people, including insurance. We'll be looking at them in the airline and
And just lastly, does the members of the joint portfolio committees have a technical report of any sort from which they can work from to understand the complexities and impediments in the banking sector in relation to consumers in South Africa?
Yes, there's a number of reports that are available that we are looking at. The research team ourselves would also even produce a perspective because we don't want the banks to come and present to us. We also need to give them a feedback in terms of what we found in terms of our own research, so that the basis for engagement, because we don't think that this will be a once-off engagement.
Yeah.
This is a start, and then from there, we should have other, even if it's individual engagement with these banks, so that we can begin to say these are issues that we are flagging. How at best can they assist? At worst, if they are unwilling to assist, how can we use the law to ensure that we can work together?
Yeah. Mzwandile Masina, thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. Mzwandile Masina is the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Trade, Industry and Competition.